Right guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. In this one I'm just going to be showing you how to fit a Bravo snorkel to your Citroen Relay van. So let's go ahead, let's take a look. So here we have the kit out of the box. That's everything you need there. That's going to be fitted onto the vehicle. So you've got a template there for your wing, a foam gasket there for underneath the snorkel there when you've drilled the hole in the wing. Your brackets, that bracket's for the up the top there, goes on there. That's for inside the engine bay. There's a bracket there, just need to remove and replace with this bracket for a few of the wires by the ECU. Got the flexible pipe there to connect up the snorkel, see to the air intake there. Jubilee clips, two silver ones, and then the black one there for the top of the snorkel. Rivets there, for the mounting, for 3 holes in that, rivets. Washers, you've got the studs there that go on the underside of the snorkel here. So you put a bit of Loctite on those and put them in. And we got lock nuts, a couple of Allen key bolts there. That's for mounting it to the bracket onto the up the pillar, up your A pillar. There's the top of the snorkel. It's going to go on there. So that's the kit as it comes in the box. So you got instructions. You got an instruction leaflet with it as well, like that. So what we'll do is we'll get this lot fitted onto the van, I'll show you how to put it on. So the 3 studs that come in the kit, that go in the 3 holes here, they're all the same. So put a bit of Loctite on the thread of that, and then with an Allen key 4mm, just put those in, each of them, and tighten them up. When you've Loctited them, get them in position so the Loctite can go off. So on the wing you've got your template that you need to offer up in position like that on there and stick it in place. Before I stick that on there, so you open your bonnet first because you'll be sticking it on the door. Get to your bonnet catch if yours is this side. What I'll do is I'll put some masking tape under here. I know that's going to go there, so put some masking tape under here first. So it just makes it easier to draw on the masking tape than it is to obviously draw on your smooth paintwork. So we'll stick that in place there, and then we'll line the template up the top here and at the door there, and then we'll hold that in place with some masking tape as well. So I'll just put this underneath first. So the next job is, obviously we need to remove the headlight to gain access to inside the inner wing there, where the snorkel's going to come through and your air intake's going to go on. So to remove the headlight, you've got a T30 Torx there, 14mm goes over that plastic sort of bolt there, and then you've got your headlight just here, what you disconnect for the electrics for your headlight off of there, and then the headlight's just clipped on underneath the light itself, so you sort of have to push it back in to sort of unclip it, if that makes sense. So we'll get that out. So the headlight locates in there like that and into that one, so it's a case of pushing the headlight back inside, so to speak, inside to the engine bay to get it to come out of these lugs. Then you've got access then to the inner wing in there, and also to put the bracket in here later on. So now we're on the wing here, so what we need to do is just mark where these holes are, and then we'll find the centres of them, and then we know where to start off with a small drill bit first in there before we obviously cut this hole out in the middle. That's a 76mm hole saw for this hole we'll be using. So what I've done is mark the centre of the holes just with a pen there, and then I've just centre punched them as well, like that, and each one just so there's a sort of a little dent there for obviously for the drill bit to go into. So I start off with a small drill bit in there just to get a pilot hole there. So now we've got the hole started, we can just keep just enlarging the drill bit size, just going up 1mm at a time just to enlarge these holes out for these small ones, and then we'll enlarge that hole a little bit more just to take the centre of the hole saw. So we've got the 3 holes for the studs there drilled out. Obviously I'll just leave the template on here so as if you slipped or anything you're not going to scratch your paint. So what we'll do is we'll get this hole cut out here with the hole saw. So there's the piece cut out. So we'll just clean up round the hole now with a file, deburr it around each of the holes first, and then clean up obviously any swarf or anything that was around inside there, inside the wing and everything as well. Get a hoover and hoover that out. You don't want to leave that any swarf in there at all. So what I did was offer the snorkel up to see if it fitted, the holes line up. In actual fact, what I had to do is just elongate the hole slightly at the top, and that one just slightly, just so it lined up, because the template wasn't accurate, so just bear that in mind. What I ended up doing was drilling that hole out to 86mm, that hole. 76 wasn't enough, so 86. Then you've got a little bit of wiggle room in it, which you want. So before I paint anything on there, I've trial fitted it on there to make sure, and then what I've done is up here I've put the bracket onto the snorkel and then held it in position. Make sure you open and shut your door to make sure the door opens and closes, because it might not. Make sure it's not hitting the door. And then with a bit of tape on there I'll just mark with a pen, and now all I do with the bracket off, I can just hold the bracket on there like that along the lines, and then just double check that and mark the holes where I want the holes to be. So I've marked the 3 holes there, as you can see, with a pen. So I'll just start them off with a small drill bit to get them started. So we've touched up around the holes any bare metal, some paint inside and outside, and then what we've got to do next while we're waiting for all that to dry is inside here there's a plate, this metal plate here by your ECU, and this plastic and this plug. Now this bracket comes with the kit. Obviously this bracket goes on these 2 bolt holes there. So you have to remove this bracket here and replace it with this, so it sits flush in there, and then this clip goes in this hole here, so it just relocates it out of the way. It's just a case of undoing your nuts here. There's one there to get this bracket off, unclip the wire, unclip this plug out of there, unclip it off of there, etc. So you can just get this off, and this your bonnet pull here is also connected to it there. So there's the old bracket off, so that's 4 10mm to hold it on, and a few clips to get that one off. Now we can put the new one in its place. So that's the bracket relocated with the multi-plug underneath it like that. So what we've got to do now is with this drain that comes from the scuttle panel like that, is clipped onto this bracket just here. Obviously your air intake is going to come through here, right where that bracket is. So what I've done is just unclip that out of its hole, so this is just out of the way for now, because it looks like we'll be bending that bracket out of the way. It's right in the way of that pipe where it's going to come through. So we'll bend that round out of the way. So as you see, I've bent the bracket back in towards the engine bay there, just a big pair of adjustables on it. Just bent that round, and hopefully I can use one of those holes to put maybe a cable tie round the pipe as well. We'll see what happens. But what we need to do is get the snorkel on there so we get the pipe coming through, so we can put it on here and get the Jubilee clip on it. So before we bolt this snorkel on, obviously you've got this piece of foam here which sticks on the inside of the actual snorkel itself. So you just offer that up and drop it in place like that. Pull the paper off the back of it first and then stick it on there. So next thing we've got to do is put the bracket on. So we've drilled the holes, and what I'm going to do is use these self-drilling. I've drilled a couple of holes to start these off, even though they are self-drilling, they don't drill that well into the bodywork. So I'm just going to use these in there, and on the bracket I'm also just going to put a bit of adhesive on the back of the bracket as well, just to stick it to the bodywork and then stop any water getting in to any holes. Instead of drilling the holes out for the rivets that are supplied with it, you need to drill some big holes for those rivets. So I'm just going to use these, 3 of these instead of rivets that go into the holes I've just put up there. So I put a couple of 2mm holes there just to get these started off when I put them in. And I'll just put some adhesive underneath the bracket itself before I put it on, just to help keep the water out of there as well. So that's got the bracket in position there with the Allen keys done up, and then now what we've got to do is down on here is put your bolts on inside the wing itself, on the 3 studs in there. So you've got the nuts on there and the washers with the rubbers behind them, so that's just a case of do one up a little bit so you can get the other ones on. To start with this one first, and then you can get the others on. The top one's the trickiest to do, and then so 13mm nuts. Then we got the pipe on with the Jubilee clip there. Just use a little ratchet on there to do that up, 7mm to get in there to do it up. And we got the pipe on here. Now where the standard intake goes, we just undone a couple of Phillips screws there to undo this off of there. Then we can just undo this clip off and see where that pipe's going to come. We might need to cut this down, I don't know yet. We'll see how it works out. So what we've done there is just cut down the intake pipe, just so we can get this new one around and stretch out and bend it round and get it on there with the Jubilee clip. So we've got the pipe connected on there, the Jubilee clip, and done up. That's how it looks, round like that, under the intake there to the wing. So now we just need to figure out how we're going to put this drain in. Just aim it over there out of the way. Needs to miss the headlight. So the pipe goes back on. All I did was take that bracket off of there, so unclip the plastic bracket and just put it back on as it would, and just put a cable tie around just to hold that other pipe in place on it like that. So the scuttle panel drain goes in there just behind the headlight, as it should, like that. There's no problem fitting that. So obviously to fit the headlight, it's just the reverse again of when you removed it. Just slot it into those 2 slots there, and then put your Torx bit back in there, and then your plastic bolt up in there into position. And that's the headlight refitted. That's the installation complete. So I hope you found the video helpful. If you did, remember to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more van related content. Until next one, I'll see you then.